Hello. It is Wednesday, so a few days after the weekend, and I didn't get as much over the weekend done as I said in my set of last vlogs. I don't even really remember where I left off. I know I talked a little bit about Arwen and tarot scopes, which has more to do with my spirituality than it does with art. But I have been working steadily on my set of junk journals, so I will talk about that a little bit, and then I'll show a couple of the things I made. I made these today, so I'll show those. I went ahead and I bound in the signatures for this. I finished laying in the other end paper. I sewed in 2 big fat signatures. I added more pages, which I probably shouldn't have done because now it's, seriously got some bloom on it. But I'll just do a really quick flip through. It's pretty much the same. Some pattern paper that's one-sided, bead dyed paper, tea dyed ledger, or this is from a teacher's roll book. Index cards put together so that they form a little signature element. A music paper that I reinforced because it's older tea dyed paper. This is I think it's a memo paper, if you fill out a memo, and it has a yellow part that goes with it. Blue dyed paper from I literally gallons and gallons of blue dyes, and I put a little tuck spot on here so you could slide something in there, of course it won't, like that, and it does flip up so you could kind of journal in here. And I had laid this paper down briefly on the top of the stove because I was doing something and I didn't realize that the burner was still hot, so this one has some little burner marks on it from my electric stove. I long for gas, but I don't have it. So blue dyed paper. This is actually a dark green RIT dye, and it produced some interesting effects. I did not get the color I wanted at all, but it was some creepy ass paper, I will tell you. On the back, I put that on the back of this really grungy tea dyed instruction sheet. I did 2 envelopes together, and I have a damask stencil. I just rubbed one of my mini Delusions pads over it and inked the edges, and then on the inside I put some pattern paper just down below here. It cuts off, it's just for the look of it. I didn't open the envelope and line the whole thing. Some bead dyed graph paper, 10 squares per inch. This is a little piece of an atlas. And I made a little tuck spot here. I suppose I should keep that piece of paper so I can keep showing you. Look, you can put something in here. But on the front, for journaling purposes or maybe collage later, I did put a piece of steno paper on here, and I left the little edges. I just glued them down. But you can kind of still see the index part of this map page. Another little floral paper. These are one of the dip dyed papers. Tea dyed. This is part of an instruction manual, and I reinforced where the things went through it. I put a little graph paper on the side for journaling. This is a voicemail log. Bead dyed paper out of white pages. Guest check. I put 2 together again to make an element so it would be up and down instead of sideways in the journal. Some really grungy tea dyed line paper. There's the middle of my signature. And then, you get the other half of all of the pieces of paper here. There's the other half of the book pages with the dip dyeing, and I really like how the effect turned out. I think it'll be fun to work with. If I wanted to, I could take some gesso and gesso in this area lightly over the purple and then more over the papers. Then I could write on it, or I could put an image on it. I could put a picture on it. That's the the other half of that piece of map, and it's got a tuck spot too. The other envelope. Really, this is the other side of that grungy paper. I didn't put anything on this side. I figure I'll add it if I want to. I think this is enough that I could just write over the top of that. Another little tuck spot, and it flips up for journaling here. So rapid memo, so it's a memo, like when you're just really quick. This is old school stuff. Now everything's digital. Tea-dyed paper, music paper. There's the other half of that card. And then the second signature starts out the same way. Paper, more of the dip dyed paper. This one's from a Harry Potter book. Blue dyed graph paper with a little flip up here, and it's a tuck spot. This is from generic diced tomatoes, I think, or tomato sauce. I just like the crinkliness of it. And I was rinsing the can because we recycle. Our apartment complex actually has a recycling bin. Put a little pocket here. It's very waxy, so I might put a picture on there. But it was just fun because the whole label came off when I rinsed it. And I was like, oh, I'll use that. Tea dyed, some beet dyed, I think it's 4 squares per inch graph paper. This is another one of those teachers' roll call books. And this one I put a little pocket on. I did envelopes here. This is an illustration out of a children's book. It's a paleontology thing. So you can kind of see that. Tea-dyed lined notebook paper. There's another dip dyed, tea-dyed instructions. Just a book paper that's been reinforced because it's older and it was thin. Tea-dyed steno paper. Grungy tea-dyed graph paper. A paper out of that Leaves book. Tea-dyed. Here's a 6x9 envelope, and I undid the flap on this side. This is the bottom where it would close, and I folded it over, and I made a little tiny tuck spot here, although some of the glue is dried on. I'll have to stick a thing under there. A little tuck spot here. Some ledger paper. There's another guest check. This is just pink dyed computer paper. From when I was doing the dip dyeing. I had some leftover dye. Another book page. This is the tangerine color, the dip dyeing. And then here we're going back to the other half of all the papers. This is the front end of the envelope, so tuck spot on this side, tuck spot on this side, and then of course you can tuck in here. And I guess, yeah, I think you can. Where'd the other side of that go? The other side you can also tuck into here with something larger, some journaling cards or something. This is, I lay the tea bags onto this piece of paper. And I love this paper, it's so yummy sounding. Tea dyed, here's the other half of that Leaves, so you get an image on the back. Graph paper, steno paper, book page, instruction sheet, dip dyed. Here's the other envelope with some floral paper on the inside. And this one also has an illustration from a children's book on there. This one's from a generic kind of Alice in Wonderland image. This is the other side of that ledger, the roll book, another tuck spot. And this is the other, so it's diced tomatoes, and it's the generic brand from Kroger, or it's a Fry's here. I love the waxy texture, and I made a little tuck spot here, and I added a little spot in here for journaling. The blue dyed paper with the little corner tuck, and it folds up for journaling here. I put some graph paper in there, and then it ends the same way with the and then what I may do is I'm going to put something on the inside cover, and it may be these. This is what I made today. I'm not sure how long this video is, so I'm going to stop here, and I'll come back and talk about what these are and why I may add them to this book. So that's the end for this one. Thank you for watching. I'll be back in a few minutes.